Welcome to yet another edition of the High School Football Roundup podcast for Thursday, October 20th, 2016. I'm your host, Walter Johnson, and in this edition of the High School Football Roundup podcast, I'm going to quickly break down last week my play host of Valdosta this week. And with just 2 games left in the regular season for Lee County, the Trojans need 1 win in their final 2 games to guarantee itself a spot in the state playoffs. And top-ranked Valdosta was off last week after knocking off north side of Warner Robins 2 weeks ago. Final score 14-6. And speaking of north side of Warner Robins, and the Eagles will host Coffee. And Coffee held off Houston County last week in a very tight game. And here's the deal with both of those games. The Lee County win over Northside, and make that a Lee County win over Valdosta, plus a Northside victory over Coffee will create a 3-way tie for first place in the region standings with just 2 games left to play, or 2 weeks left in the regular season. And it looks like, let's see, in Valdosta's, let's see, Houston County was number 1 just 2 weeks ago before Lee County rolled to a convincing win just 2 weeks ago on October 7th. And then Norfolk County dropped Lee County the number 1 ranking with a 26-7 rout last week. And now Lee County has a chance to knock off its second number 1 ranked team in as many weeks with a victory over Valdosta tomorrow night, which would be Friday, October 21st. And how about Region 1 5A action? And the Bay Ridge Bearcats had a bye last week after knocking off Veterans 31-6 just 2 weeks ago on the 7th of October. And they'll travel to Thomasville, just outside of Thomasville, to the Jackets Nest to take on Thomas County Central. And the Yellow Jackets were upset by Veterans up in Houston County, in Kathleen, Georgia. Final score 33-28 in favor of the Veterans Warhawks. And obviously it's always a big rivalry game between these two teams along U.S. Highway 84. And this game just takes on that much more added importance. And Bay Ridge, despite being 2-4 overall, is 1-0 in the GHSA Region 1 5A, only undefeated team in the region for the moment. And Thomas County Central, with a loss to their hands, fell to 1-1 in the region, 5-3 overall. And the other game has Harris County at 3-4 overall, 0-1 in the region, traveling to Veterans, and whose Warhawks set at 1-1 in the region, 4-4 overall. And we're moving right along to Region 1 6A, and the top game there, perhaps at least for people here in the Albany area, Albany surrounding communities, got the Westover Patriots playing host to Cairo. Cairo comes in as the only undefeated team in Region 1 4A at 4-0, 6-1 overall. Patriots, after being knocked off at Hugh Mill Stadium by Columbus High last week, 40-29, sits at 2-2 in the region and 4-3 overall. And the Patriots are one of 6 teams. They're tied for second in Region 1 4A. And the Patriots, had Westover not lost to Columbus, they would have been playing Cairo for first place this week. And Cairo's won 5 in a row since losing their only game of the season to Thomas County Central. Seeing the other games in Region 1 4A this week, got America Sumter at home hosting Hardaway, and right in the middle of that log jam. And Carver Columbus had a lead against Cairo, going to losing in the final seconds and losing 35-28 at Cairo last week. Will try to bounce back against Columbus. And north side of Columbus, another one of those teams sitting at 2-2 in the region and 4-3 overall, will face Shaw, and they're the only winless team in region 1-4A action at 0-4. The Shaw Raiders, that is, only winless team in region 1-4A at 0-4, and just 1-6 overall. And Shaw basically is the only team that's playing for pride at this point. And got more regions to look at. And how about in Region 1 AAA? And the Darty Trojans make the short trip along U.S. Highway 82 to Sylvester to take on the Worth County Rams. And the Rams are tied with the Crisp County Cougars in region play at 1-0, 4-3 overall, while Darty sits at 1-1 in Region 1 AAA, 2-5 overall. And Darty played a pretty good game against Cook, but unfortunately the Trojans did not play well enough to win the game, as Cook escaped with a 29-20 victory. And on the other hand, the Rams had last week off, and the Rams can go to 2-0 and stay undefeated in region play with a win. And as for Darty, and the Trojans need a win to keep themselves in the playoff discussion, with just one game remaining, which will be next Thursday, October 27th, against Crisp County. And the only other game in Region 1 AAA this week, and there are only 5 teams. There's only just 5 teams in GHSA Region 1 AAA. Got the Cook Hornets traveling up by Interstate 75 to Cordele, Georgia, going from Adel, Georgia to Cordele, Georgia to face the Crisp County Cougars. We're 7-0 overall, 1-0 Region 1 AAA after defeating Monroe of Albany 28-14. And the Tornadoes have this week off. And we continue to move right along. And perhaps the game of the week in GHSA Region 1 AA will take place in Fitzgerald, Georgia, as the Fitzgerald Purple Hurricanes play host to the Brooks County Trojans. And both teams sit at 2-0 in Region 1 AA play, 6-1 overall. And the only losses for both Brooks and Fitzgerald came to teams in higher classifications. And the Trojans lost several weeks ago on Friday, September 30th, to the Crisp County Cougars on the last second field goal, 16-13. Class AAA Crisp County Cougars, whom I just mentioned briefly about a minute or so ago. And while Fitzgerald fell to Tift County in the closing seconds, 35-28, Class 7A Tift County. And obviously overlooked is the third team that's 2-0 Region 1 AA, and that's the Thomasville Bulldogs, who will come to Hugh Mills Stadium this week to face Albany High. Albany High is still looking for win number 1 on the 2016 season. In at 0-2 in region play, 0-2 overall. Albany High's last win came on the last game of the 2014 regular season and defeated Darty at the very end of the 2014 regular season. And how about GHSA Region 1 Single A? And perhaps the game of the week in that league will take place in Cuthbert, Georgia, and Randolph Clay playing host to Miller County, and the Red Devils fell into a three-way tie for first place in Region 1 Single A with a 50-38 loss to Pelham last week. And Miller County, on the other hand, sits at 5-2 overall. Both at 5-2 overall and in region play. And Miller County came off a 35-13 victory over Sneads, Florida last week. And how about some other games in Region 1 Single A this week? And the Pelham Hornets are at home this week, taking on Stewart County. And 5-1 in the region, 6-1 overall. And the Hornets have won 4 in a row. And as mentioned earlier, sits at the top of first place in 1 Single A. And Stewart County only recorded his first region win of the season just last week. And Pelham controls his own destiny in region play. 3 more wins, and Pelham will win a region championship. And Seminole County hitting the road to face Baconton Charter in Camilla. And Seminole still has an outside shot at the postseason, but they can't afford another loss. And as for the Blazers of Baconton Charter, they're seeking their first region victory 2016. And the Blazers lost to Stewart County in a heartbreaker. In Metro County at 6-1 overall, 5-1 in region, hit the road to face Calhoun County. And the Eagles can stay atop the region 1 Single A heap with a victory. And Mitchell County's coming off a win over Seminole County last week. And in the running out of time, and some of the other games, in Terrell County goes to Chattahoochee County in GISA action. And Deerfield Windsor can finish second in GISA Region 3 AAA with a win over Brookwood of Thomasville. And Brookwood has lost only 1 game so far to Valwood, and Deerfield lost to Valwood last week. And Westwood travels to Dawson to take on Taylor Academy. Both teams are 2-0 in GISA Region 3 AA, and the winner wins the region championship, and loser will settle for second. And finally, winless Sherwood Christian at 0-6 hits the road to face 6-0 Skipstone Academy. And I'm out of time for this edition of the High School Football Roundup. Remember to follow on Twitter at SWJ Network. I'm Walter Johnson. Thank you.